Okay, time for a new video. Welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. This is yet another Eurovision 2025 related video here on my channel, and today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the semi-final one first rehearsals that have taken place in Basel, Switzerland, ahead of this year's upcoming edition of the Eurovision Song Contest. As always, you're very welcome to let me know your thoughts on anything I discuss in today's video by leaving a comment down below, and as always, there are links in the description to my other social media pages. Check them out if you so wish. Over the past few days, we have had live blogs on the Eurovision Reddit page, which I've been keeping a close eye on. We have had some descriptions of the first rehearsals. As I speak to you now, some of the semi-final 2 participants are having their first run-throughs on stage in Basel, but I'll be talking about the semi-final 2 first rehearsals another time. We've also had 3 photographs released per country, and I've seen them on the official Eurovision Instagram page. So what I'm going to do is just briefly go through all of the participants in semi-final 1 and talk about the descriptions that we have and indeed the photographs that have been released thus far. I've already seen some people on YouTube rank these rehearsals, which I do find a little bit weird because you are judging a couple of paragraphs of text and 3 images per participant. There's really not a lot to judge at all here, and we don't have any video footage at all from these first rehearsals. Anyway, with that being said, let's get cracking. Do bear with me as we begin with Iceland. This is, of course, Roa by Vibe. It says here on the Reddit post, this routine is fundamentally the same as the one we saw at Song for Kepnin, but with a little Basel polish. The 2-part wooden boat is painted white with some waves at stage level, and the 3 backing dancers have upgraded outfits: silver dungarees with cute Icelandic jumpers and silver bucket hats. But the 2 Vibe boys are in the same outfits with hoods we've seen previously, and of course their trademark silver shades. The whole routine has been elevated. This is great. Take what you already have, elevate it for the Eurovision stage. You're moving in the right direction. This all sounds fairly promising, I must say, and the arena is already jumping. 2 interesting things that we're going to see used to great effect this year. The LED wall at the back of the stage is full width and height, so it allows the artists to create hugely impactful graphic backdrops. Vibe use it for very cool geometric landscapes and seascapes in neon red and blue that feel very Icelandic, along with Vibe in giant letters that we saw at the national final. I've said it previously on my channel, I thought the Song for Kepnin national final performance was fine, but was perhaps erring on the side of slipshod ever so slightly. Definitely, watching that performance, I thought this needs tightening up quite a bit. They've had plenty of time to do that. It seems as though this is absolutely moving in the right direction. Even for a first rehearsal, it sounds and is looking quite promising. We need that vibrancy, we need that energy. The vocals at the pre-party performances were better as well than they were at the national final. Everything seems to be going a lot more smoothly now, which is very promising indeed. Just taking a look at the photographs, there they are. The 2 of them in their silver outfits. You've got this makeshift boat on stage. It does look very vibrant. We're going to have the choreo. There's smoke coming up from some vents as well. That seems to be at the end of the performance. I'm still not sure this is going through, but it sounds as though they're giving it a right good go. And definitely it seems to be a little bit slicker than it was at the national final, which is great. This is what we all want. A really great way to get things going in the first semi-final next week. Let's move on now to song 2, which is Poland, Yustina Steczkowska with Gaia. It says here, Gaia is blah blah blah. Let me go back here. Every year there are a few songs that have a bass line so deep you can feel it in your chest. Gaia is definitely one of those. The reverb pounds through the floor of the arena. Yustina descends on 2 ropes from the roof at the beginning of the song in this version in a black catsuit that's very similar to the one she wore at the Polish national selection, but without the shoulder fringing. Her 4 backing dancers, 3 male, 1 female, also have different outfits with gladiator-like fringed skirts and very high heels. The choreography is complex. The LED wall starts with spinning planets and water and lightning and lava, like it's the birth of the universe. Then at the end, Yustina is lifted back up into the heavens against a backdrop of fire, breathing dragons. It's giving Game of Thrones meets Eurovision, and it's an absolute spectacle from start to finish. Now, reading that the other day, I thought, okay, this is going to blow Iceland away, and this Polish performance is going to be a hell of a lot more stand out than what Vibe are bringing to the table. Now, I'm definitely not sure about Poland's chances this year. There doesn't seem to be a great deal of middle ground with this one. Some people think it's going to do incredibly well. Some people think it could suffer the same fate as Norway last year and maybe finish last in the grand final, or at least close to last in the grand final this year. Like I said, there doesn't seem to be a great deal of middle ground. Anyway, this sounds fairly promising, but at the national final, I have to say I thought the performance was maybe a little bit over the top. And you do run the risk with a big, sort of frantic sounding song like this one of trying to cram in a bit too much, and it doesn't feel very smooth. It feels a little bit disjointed maybe. And based on what I've read here again, it feels like maybe there's a lot going on. And whether it's really going to come together very nicely or not, I just don't know. But Yustina descending on 2 ropes from the roof, that's obviously going to be a very strong and powerful image, and we know that she can really deliver the goods. She's a commanding performer. She's going to own that stage and sound very good. If we take a look at the photos, yes, she's got a couple of dancers all in warrior-type outfits. It reminds me a little bit of Wild Dances for Ukraine and Ruslana back in 2004. Gaia on the backdrop. There she is coming down from the ceiling there. It's all very dramatic, you know. This is a song that really brings a lot of drama front and centre. And as much as I'm not a huge lover of the track, there's no doubt in my mind, based on this, what we've read, it's going to be a very fierce, powerful performance. And it really could blow Iceland away, which is quite damaging. But there we are. Moving on to Song 3, Slovenia. How much time do we have left by Clemen? It says here, the staging really captures the haunting theme of the song, with both the LED wall and the front arch both sparkling with thousands of stars that change from red to blue through the song. He's wearing a different outfit than what he wore at EMA. In this rehearsal, he's wearing a black suit with a white t-shirt rather than the grey turtleneck. And as we saw at EMA, Clemen sings the middle section upside down, supported by 2 backing dancers. Now, my concern here is that we know this is a slow ballad. It's got a message. Whether that message really resonates with first-time listeners next week remains to be seen. I can't help but feel as though the most interesting part about this is going to be when he's upside down, and first-time listeners and viewers might be confused as to why he's upside down. Does it really add anything at all? Is it just there to make the song a little bit more interesting somehow? I don't really know. It is a fairly beautiful track, but I think coming after the real frantic nature of Poland's effort, and then I think it's Estonia next, isn't it? That's obviously going to get a lot more love from viewers, and of course it is a 100% public vote semi-final. I really don't think Slovenia stand much of a chance. At this stage, I'm not seeing any sign whatsoever that there's enough here to make people really connect with it. But I could be wrong. The 3 photographs we have are just him standing there. So you really cannot judge it at all. But once we get that video footage from the second rehearsal, maybe my opinion, maybe your opinion as well, will change for the better. But at this moment in time, this really is looking like an NQ. Moving on to Estonia now. This is Tommy Cash, one of the biggest names this year, with Espresso Macchiato. Excuse me. He's wearing the same blue suit and long red tie we saw at Aleandro, and the routine is also much the same, with 2 burly security guards who are joined by 2 others for Tommy's trademark spaghetti-legged dance routine. The LED backdrop creates an alpine landscape that matches the mountains that flank the stage, with similar animated graphics to those we saw at the Estonian national final, just much bigger and bolder. There's a real fun energy to this song. You can't help but sing along. This is, as the kids say, going to go very big in the hall. I'm sure it will. Tommy is a fairly charismatic performer. He's been doing this sort of stuff for many years now. I thought the national final performance wasn't that great. I've said this before. I thought it was sloppy. I didn't think it was that fun. I thought it was very messy. He didn't sound that great. I'm not a professional singer, I know, but to me he did not sound brilliant vocally at all at Estonia. But of course, because he's such a big name, people voted in their big numbers and he won the selection by a mile. I'm a little bit disappointed that they're sort of going for the same thing again. But I suppose if it ain't broke, it don't need fixing, if you see what I mean. Taking a look at the images online, there he is with this rather comically long red tie. You've got the 4 security guards dressed in black. You've got an airplane on the LED screen with Tommy Cash written on it in what looks to be permanent marker. And he's holding a somewhat crushed coffee cup as well, and a post-it note on his suit which says "I love Eurovision." I don't know, it does feel fairly cringy, but it reminds me a little bit of the Netherlands last year. We were promised sort of groundbreaking, impressive staging, and we never got that. The staging was fine, but I also know some people thought Joost Klein's performance was maybe a little bit disappointing. And that's the vibe I'm getting regarding Estonia this year, where maybe this song really needs quite out there staging, and instead what we're going to get is something that feels very casual, very relaxed, and maybe not that interesting to watch. I don't know. Irrespective of what the staging is for this Estonian number, people are going to vote for it. We're all expecting it. This is going to cruise through to the final, bar some utter catastrophe. We've got to move on. I'm only 4 songs down. Song 5 is Bird of Prey for Ukraine by Ziflat. Made up of Daniel, Valentin and Fedir, Ziflat define themselves as being part of the new generation of Ukrainian music. There's been a few changes to the staging. The suits are a similar wide-legged / puff shoulders 1970s cut, but they're now each in a different solid bright colour with lots of sparkle, and the 3 backing singers have glittery gold pantsuits. The on-stage garden of grass and flowers has also gone. Instead, the LED wall has pink and green neon graphics that pulse and swirl with the music and explode during the chorus. The lighting and close camera work really drive this performance. Even the way Daniel walks around the stage is perfectly choreographed to each beat. The whole thing is very stylish and polished, and we do have some fireworks during the guitar middle 8 as well. As I've said previously, I am not a huge lover of this track, but we know that Ukraine usually deliver the goods big time when it comes to a Eurovision performance. I actually don't mind the outfits at all. We can't really see a whole lot in these photographs as to what the backdrop actually looks like. It's not a bad song. Is it really going to stand out much? I don't know. But it doesn't look too bad, and I didn't love or hate the staging they had at Vidbeer. If they had kept it for Eurovision, I wouldn't have been mad at all, but of course that garden platform they had has gone. They've changed things up, and we'll see how good it's looking when the second rehearsal footage comes out. Next up, we have Sweden, the big favourites to win, although Austria might be coming right up on the rails as I speak to you now. This is Bara Barabastu by Kai, the 3 guys. Really, this is very similar to how it was at Melfest. They are in greeny brown suits. There's a fire pit that's more like the wooden heat rock box you get in a sauna, and a log store that is easier for the now 3 dancers to tilt into sauna mode. However, the opening sausage is significantly larger than the one we saw in Melfest. The LED backdrop provides an entire forest complete with deer until the key change when the entire arena goes full neon laser party for an epic finish. So we do have the lasers, we have the flashing lights, we have the flames, the flame jets, the whole shebang. They're really going all out with this. And looking at the photos that have been released thus far, it is exactly as we expected. They're sitting on this bench. They're looking quite smart. The choreo's there. The dancers with the towels wrapped around them are there. The lasers are streaking across the arena. Like I said earlier, if it ain't broke, it don't need fixing. They know they're one of the big favourites to win. The national final performance was very solid indeed. Very few alterations are needed whatsoever. I'm looking forward to seeing the rehearsal clip in the next few days. So that was semi-final. No, it wasn't, because we've got Portugal. That was the last country to rehearse on day one. This was Deslocado by Nappa. It says here, the setup of the band on stage is the same as we saw at FDC, but a few things have been added for the Basel stage. Firstly, the band's outfits have changed. Now they all have long-sleeved jackets or shirts in different muted colours that elevate the whole thing to a new level of style. The LED wall adds some lovely floating clouds and animated skyscapes that change colour in sync with the LED arch, all of which adds to the dreamlike quality of this performance. The harmonies are stunning in this big space. Portugal, I think, are on the periphery of qualifying this year. I know a lot of people really do love this song for what it is, and as I've said previously on my channel, I'm really enjoying the hazy, summery atmosphere that this song gives off. Based on these photos, I do wonder if the stage is a little bit empty. But on the other hand, I don't really know what else you could have on stage, prop-wise, things like that, to make it feel a little bit more full somehow. Don't mind the outfits. Don't mind the backdrop. It looks very beautiful indeed. Lovely stuff. And in this third photo, we can see the overhanging lights in a sort of slightly triangular pattern. And that reminds me of the Hall Tony Garnier, which is an indoor arena in Lyon. If you look at photos of the interior of that building, the structure on the ceiling is very much triangular in this sort of pattern. I'm going off on a massive tangent, but that's what it reminded me of as soon as I saw that third image. It's looking perfectly fine. Whether it gets enough love, this song, remains to be seen. That is day one done and dusted, so we move on to day two and the remaining semi-final one participants, beginning with Norway, Lighter by Kyle Alessandro. Lots of elements of this staging have travelled directly from MGP, including the prop with the two stone pillars and the steps, but Kyle has a much bigger LED backdrop for a series of post-apocalyptic mounting graphics, and also a much bigger stage to work with. He takes full advantage of this with a very polished dance routine that uses both the walkway and the wide front section. What elevates this performance to off the scale, is the lighting. There's a moving lighting rig on the roof that lowers in the second half, creating a stunning moment in the quiet middle eight after the dance break, when Kyle is caught in hundreds of spotlights in the middle of the stage. He's also wearing a slightly different version of his armour attire from MGP, which reminds me of Alessandra, who represented Norway in Liverpool a few years ago. She had a sort of armour warrior type attire for MGP, and it was changed ever so slightly for Eurovision. My thoughts on this song remain the same. I think it's a fairly bang average number, but he's a pretty good performer. We have the choreo. It looks as though his trousers are very big indeed. The backdrop is looking great. I'm loving the sort of orange and deep red shades that we have, and the blue lights across the arena as well. That's looking pretty good. And we've got flames around the edge of the stage as well, it looks like. Very, very good, I have to say. Out of all the photos for the participants so far, I have to say Norway's impressing me. I think they've got 3 decent photos here. Maybe my opinion on the song will change over time, I don't know. But it seems as though they've taken what they had at the national final and elevated it ever so slightly for Eurovision. This is what you've got to do. All signs are pointing to this one cruising through next Tuesday night. After Norway, we move on to Belgium. This is Strobe Lights by Red Sebastian. The precision choreography of the lighting and graphics is spectacular. In the final section, the lights, which are called the Lego lights here, descend to add some intensity for the final section when the whole thing goes off and the arena dances like the whole world is watching. The moving platform has not made the journey from Eurosong. Red Sebastian stays grounded for this performance and now has 3 dancers instead of the previous 4. His costume is very similar to the red PVC suit with triangular shoulders he wore in the official video, and his dancers are in matching outfits but with black accents. There's also a moment in this performance where he interacts with his own reflection on the LED floor. So I thought the national final performance was fine, and I don't know why I think this, but it seems to me as though something might be missing from the Eurovision staging. And I don't really know what that is. Maybe the platform he was on? I don't know. I have to say I'm not a huge fan of his outfit, but that's a really minor thing to pick up on. The second image I'm looking at here seems really cool. And definitely there's going to be a lot of strobe lights. It looks to me in this image as though it's lava spewing forth from a volcano behind him. It does look pretty good. And it seems as though he's going to be moving about quite a bit, really owning the stage. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad, and we know he can really sing. But part of me wonders if something is going to be lacking from the final product. I just don't really know what that is. Anyway, we move on from Belgium, swiftly on to Azerbaijan, Run With You by Mamagama. There's so much joy in this performance. The performance plays out in the middle of the stage inside a lit halo on the floor that's mirrored by a smaller one suspended from the roof. The LED wall adds scores of animated shadow dancers mirroring the moves of Mamagama's 3 backing dancers, creating a very cool crowd effect that's got us all chair dancing. As for costumes, the band are in very stylish black leather suits with red accents, but Asef and Hassan are wearing different styles of jacket, and Arif's top is sleeveless, which presumably makes it easier to play the drums. They also have 3 dancers in sparkly black and red catsuits. I really don't mind this track. I'm looking forward to seeing the rehearsal footage soon. I'm not really sure if this needed dancers or not, but nevertheless we've got them. Taking a look at the photos, the most interesting one is this third one here, flames coming up from the edge of the stage. This halo on the floor looks very similar to something that Sevak Kanagyan had for Armenia back in 2018. It's definitely not exactly the same. It's just reminding me of that shape. And then we've got what looks to be a hula hoop floating above them. And I thought it was going to be bigger based on the description that we had on the Reddit page. It looks a little bit odd, not really sure it's adding too much to the performance at all. But on the whole, this looks okay. We wait and see what the rehearsal footage is like. I do wonder about the vocals as well. Moving on to, let me just do this, San Marino. Yes, I have to say I've got a few doubts about this one. Tutta l'Italia by Gabri Ponte, who is one of the biggest names involved this year. He's wearing a silver jacket against a backdrop of pulsing lights and graffiti on the LED wall. His decks are huge and look like they're made from mirrored panels that reflect even more pulsing lights, but the dancers from the national final are gone, replaced by 2 instrumentalists who pretend to play, the accordion and the tambourine. This is such an interesting and unusual staging concept for Eurovision. I'm running out of breath. A performance where the masked vocalists are not the main focus. The only other example we can think of is Norway's Nocturne in 1995. There's plenty of pyro, there's plenty of flames as well. So, looking at the photographs, I just feel as though this is probably going to be quite awkward, because DJ-type acts at Eurovision have always been a little bit awkward. The second image looks really good. Definitely sort of setting the atmosphere for this clubby track and the pounding beat. Well, I say pounding beat. It's a very catchy number. It's a very enjoyable tune. He seems to be having a fairly good time. But my concerns remain the same. Is this just going to feel, I don't know, strangely bland for an up-tempo track? Is it going to feel a bit awkward with him just standing there pretending to do his thing? I don't know, and I have to say, as the days go by, I am leaning towards this maybe not going through, and maybe you feel the same way. I don't know. Feel free to let me know in the comments. After San Marino, we have Albania. People are loving this one still. Shern by Shkodra Elektronike. Very little of the FIC performance or staging has made the trip from Albania. It's had a complete revamp. There's still the red and black colour scheme that plays out with geometric shapes on the LED backdrop, the Lego lights, the LED floor and the frame. The animation really drives the performance and provides a striking contrast to their main performance area, which is a structure of black and white light boxes in the centre of the stage, where Kule stands in this middle with his drum. Beatrice uses much more of the space for her unique dance routine and armography, which has stayed much the same, and in the final chorus she dances down the walkway for the big finale. She's still in red, but it's a different dress. It's got a red crepe satin with sparkle on the bodice and lots of draping, and one red glove on her right hand. The whole look is very glamorous. He is wearing a double-breasted military jacket like a pea coat. This sounds very good. FIC is maybe not the most, well, we know this, it's not the most modern national final, and you've always got to really elevate things for Eurovision. This is looking good. She's looking strong and fierce, walking sort of down the catwalk ever so slightly, really liking her outfit. He looks fairly smart as well. It reminds me of a sort of jacket a sailor would wear. Don't know why I'm getting that vibe. This third photo is looking really fantastic. Flames everywhere, loving the sort of patterns that we've got on the frame around the stage as well. It's looking really good, and I do like this song, and I think they're giving themselves a really good shot of doing well this year. After Albania, we have the Netherlands. Well, I think this is one where we definitely need to wait for the rehearsal footage. I don't know if it's all one camera shot. Part of me is hoping it is. I'm hoping it's very similar to live performances he's given thus far. It says here, this is Claude with C'est la vie, of course, he has a natural connection with the camera that makes this feel like a powerful bit of visual storytelling, and he infuses the whole performance with pure joy from start to finish, with two contemporary dancers who dance around him in and out of shot like they're just passing through a party. Many of you will blah blah blah. A purple suit is what he's wearing with pearl detail. This is one of the first performances we've seen so far that features less of the LED wall, and now we know why. In the final chorus there's an explosion of pink and blue flowers, reminds me of Czechia 2016, that take up every square inch of the wall, the floor and the frame. You almost expect them to flow into the arena. What a finale. That sounds to me like it's going to be the selling point, the wow moment of this track. Looking at the photos, wherever they are, here we are, he looks very smart. It seems like it's going to be a very up-close and beautiful performance. He's got musicians around him. That wasn't mentioned in the blog post, was it? Don't remember seeing that. But anyway, this looks really intimate and yet warm and perhaps quite inviting at the same time. That's what I'm getting from these photos. Really looking forward to seeing the rehearsal footage in a few days' time. As for Croatia, major changes here. Poison Cake by Marko Bornyak. I feel as though some people are getting very, very hyped up about this one. How you can go from saying a song is almost dead on arrival to saying it's coming top 10 in the final based on a few paragraphs and a few photos, I really don't know. But it says here, the Lego lights are in full effect here, crisscrossing each other to create a more intimate stage space that has the added bonus of providing dramatic lighting backed by red and green storm clouds and flames. His outfit is a full-length cape with fur around the shoulders that's giving evil Tudor prince. In the middle of the stage is a grey cauldron, which Marco and his 4 dancers cast their spells into for the first verse and chorus. The dancers all wear matching blue and white outfits with frills and ribbons, and for the second half they head to the frame stage. There's a deeper bass on this live arrangement. Lots of low fog, flames and jets and what have you as the song progresses. Now, I have to say, this song needs all the help it can get, because I think if we're just talking about the tune, it's in trouble. It's looking very witchy, very gothic, very mysterious. He's not the problem at all. I just wish that he had a better song. This final image here with the pink lighting I think is particularly effective. It seems very camp, quite playful, very theatrical, and he's giving himself a fighting chance. But whether this is really enough to do the business or not, I don't know. Then we have the song closing semi-final one, which is Cyprus. And there was a huge amount of interest and hype surrounding this one. And I have to say, I'm not bowled over yet. What we have here are 2 scaffolding towers. This is Theo Evan with Shush, of course. 2 scaffolding towers are placed on stage, and the performance opens with Theo and the 2 dancers forming the shape of a mysterious figure referenced in the lyrics. As the performance unfolds, the towers shift positions to create different formations. Theo and his 4 dancers incorporate them seamlessly into the choreography. Stunning visuals and dynamic lighting enhance each movement, adding depth and intensity to the staging. It's a super slick, high-energy, 3-minute workout, which does things with scaffold towers and very gymnastic men that we didn't know were even possible. The lighting shifts from black and white at the start to black and red in the middle, then back to black and white, and there's a moment at the end before the final drop when everything stops and Theo just breathes, with a clever camera effect that makes it look like he's dissolving into the ether. He's wearing black trousers and a black vest. And this does look pretty slick. It looks pretty cool, I have to say, moving these scaffold towers around. It doesn't look like it's massively over the top, it has to be said, but as I thought, the most interesting thing about this is going to be the staging and not the actual song. And he's giving off some smouldering looks, and there's really little else to say about this. Based on the hype coming into this, I was expecting something really quite groundbreaking. And instead what we have is something that does look fairly impressive, but isn't really making me go, whoa, that's going to be incredible live. But of course that could change when the second rehearsal footage is released. Anyway, I've been rambling for far too long. It's time to shut up. This video has probably been all over the damn place, but let me know your thoughts on the semi-final one first rehearsals so far. Of course, no footage, but we do have descriptions and indeed a couple of photographs as well. And I'll be back with another video fairly soon to do this all again, but regarding semi-final 2. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and roll on this year's contest. Bye for now.